So Bitcoin just broke $60,000. Actually, it broke $61,000. So this video, I want to do a bit of an update, look at Bitcoin, where we are now, how much further we can go possibly, what lies ahead, and what the next possibly, couple weeks, couple months could look like, and whether or not we actually might be in for a repeat of the 2013 cycle, which peaked 12 months after the previous halving, which means that if that were to repeat, we could peak by the end of April or early May. What's up, guys? Dirk here from intelligentcryptocurrency.com. If you are new to the channel, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell after you do that so you do get alerts whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to get an email notification whenever I upload a new video, sign up for my email list. You can do that by clicking on the first link in the description below. Sign up for my free cryptocurrency masterclass. That'll give you a presentation, it'll give you a whole lot of value, and my top 3 coins for 2021, as well as how you can become a part of my intelligent cryptocurrency community. But by getting on that email list, you will also get email notifications whenever I upload a new video. So go sign up for that, first link in the description below. Now, Bitcoin is currently trading at $61,000. Now, before we get started, I just want to hop over back into the video I made a couple days ago, literally 4 or 5 days ago, where it was still trading at $53,000. Let's just jump into that real quick. As I'm recording this, it is the 9th of March 2021. Bitcoin is back at $53,300. Okay, so as you can see, let's look at this chart over here, $53,348. And you can see this red circle over here. This is an interesting thing to watch, because what tends to happen in trends is you have accelerations of the trend, all right? You get a flat trend and then a steeper angle and then more of an acceleration as it starts to move towards the parabolic blow-off. So you can see over here, I can actually draw this for you. You can see this might be, a bit of a slower trend. And then you can start to see we get an acceleration, second level. And this right here, it continues to accelerate in the trend until at some point we get a parabolic move to the upside, a blow off, and then the trend is complete. So why I circled this at this point is that when these trends change in their acceleration levels, what tends to happen is that we start to get gaps. So in normal trends, when the trend isn't accelerating just yet, what tends to happen is on a correction in that trend, the low tends to touch the previous support. So in this case, let's round it up to 42,000. In a regular trend where the acceleration isn't that steep, this would have come back to 42K. Now, the fact that it came to 43K and reversed to the upside without touching 42K or lower means that the buyers stepped in before that level and created a reversal before the strong support of the previous top of 42K. Now, it isn't by all means a guaranteed thing, but a lot of the time when this happens and there's a gap between the previous top and the bottom of the correction, it means that there's a lot of strength behind this in an upwards trend, meaning that the next leg up is likely to be very strong and take us to higher levels. So it is entirely possible that we can go into 60, 70, 80K from here with a strong move up in the next few weeks for Bitcoin. And obviously, if that were to happen, altcoins will also benefit, and at some point we're going to get a massive parabolic move to the upside in altcoins. I really still believe that, just like we saw at the end of the cycle in 2017. So that was literally about 5 days ago, and that was trading at $53,000. So looking at the chart now, the same style, the 3 ascending trend lines, the gap between the 42K top and the 43K bottom, and the acceleration, which I talked about in the last video, as you just saw. When that gap is there, there's a lot of strength behind this, meaning that very likely the leg that follows, or the next upward move, is going to be a lot stronger. Now, we have broken past the previous top, the 58,300. You can see over here, big move to the upside. We're still trading at $61,000. So I think it is likely that for this leg, we are seeing an acceleration. We might even be entering this fourth acceleration trend line like this, right? Which means that this could really take off, and we could indeed see 70, maybe as high as $80,000, possibly this month still, in the next couple weeks, if this acceleration continues. Now, obviously that's backed by some fundamental stuff, like we are still seeing institutions buying at these levels. MicroStrategy bought even more Bitcoin at recently in the $50,000. So, there is a lot of strength behind this. Bitcoin is leaving exchanges. There's still a lot of bullish momentum. And like I said, we still haven't had that parabolic blow off phase yet, I don't think. So that is where we could go really, really quickly. Now, the point of what I want to try and touch on here is also that we are constantly looking to see where is the cycle going to peak, how high is it going to go, because with that information, obviously it's not guaranteed, right? Nobody knows, but we're trying to guess as best as possible to be able to make the best decisions when to exit the market, when to take initial, when to reduce
positions, or maybe even, like I said, get out completely, because at some point it is going to peak and the crash down is going to be brutal. Now, in another video, I will look at bearish scenarios, what happened the last bear market, the drawdowns and that kind of stuff. We won't cover that in this video. But for now, we are looking at potential further upside. And the question is going to be, is this going to be the blow off top already? Or is this just another leg followed by a correction, after which we will get the final blow off? And that is going to be the trick. There's a lot of people who are saying Bitcoin is going to $100, $200, $300,000 in this cycle, right? And we're only at 60,000. So there's a couple things to look at. Let's take it one step at a time. And then we want to look at the Bitcoin dominance, look at what it means for altcoins, and basically what it all means, put it together, how these next couple weeks and couple months, could potentially play out. So one interesting possibility here by Cole Gardner on Twitter, he made this chart and he's showing the parabolic curve step-like formation with 4 bases up into the parabola, then it peaks and then it comes crashing back down. And he's overlaid this type of pattern on the Bitcoin chart that we're currently seeing, right? So he's saying this could be base 1, base 2, base 3. This current leg that we're seeing, potentially up to about $80,000, could be leg number 4, followed by another pullback, 80, maybe back down to, who knows, 60, 55, and then the final parabolic move that's going to take us way over 100,000, maybe even over 200,000, and then a huge crash back down. And based on this projection, obviously nobody knows, right? It's just a prediction. But look, this projection would have it peaking somewhere early May, right? Which would mean 12 months after the halving of May 2020, which would put it on track for repeat of 2013, which was 12 months after the halving also. It was a much more violent, much sharper upward move and crash back down than the 2017 cycle, which took 18 months instead of 12 months. The idea behind this also is that after this crash, okay, so by the effing dip super cycle, meaning that after this pullback, we would get, a correction consolidation, maybe a shorter one, that after that would be followed with an even higher high in Bitcoin and crypto, maybe 500,000, maybe 1 million in the years that follow, right? So this is the potential, talking about a shorter cycle now with a local sort of top in late April, early May, then a pullback and a correction, maybe for multiple months, maybe for a year, and then a continuation of the trend into 500K plus over the coming years. So again, it's just a possibility. Nobody really knows, but you got to look at the previous data, parabolic cycles, sentiment. Those are things that repeat over and over in markets, irrespective of whether it's crypto, forex, commodities, right? Cycles go through these type of different changes in sentiment, different accelerations in trends. At some point they peak, they correct, and then so we do have some sort of base to work with, and it's just going to be keeping on top of things to figure out where is it really going. So let's head over look into bitcoin.com. They have some amazing charts here that are good to keep an eye on as the price goes higher. The Puel multiple, you can see peaks of the price were all in this red band area over here, okay? 2013 peak in the red zone, 2017 peak in the red zone. And right now, we are still moving, but we are not yet in the red zone, right? So you want to keep an eye on this. When this starts getting into the red zone, and specifically around these levels, then it's time to start getting cautious, because at that point, we could potentially be seeing a peak or being near to one. And at that point also, keep in mind, this last move can be the most exponential move, where the price gains are the biggest percentage-wise in the shortest period of time. So just like in 2017, at the very last month of Bitcoin's price action, we went from roughly $7,500 to almost $20,000 in a period of the last 30 days. So that's almost a 3x. If we're trading at 60K, that would mean from 60K to 180K in 30 days. From a higher level, it could even happen, right? From 80K to maybe 240K in 30 days, and then all the way back down. It's not impossible, and it could happen on a blow-off phase. Will that repeat in exactly the same way? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't go 3x. Maybe it goes 2x. Maybe it goes 1.5x. But at some point, that parabolic move towards the last phase of the cycle, that is going to be when we see the largest gains in Bitcoin. And then that should also happen in altcoins. And that is where really insane gains can be made. But again, if you don't act, those gains, it'll happen and it'll come all the way back down and it'll disappear if you don't act. So it's so important to stay on top of the market, to understand what's happening, to have your exit plan ready, and to act when it actually starts happening. And even if you sell too soon, right, but you're still got nice gains, that's going to be great, because at some point it's going to come down. It's probably going to come way below where you sold. And even though initially you might get frustrated that you sold too early because it continues going higher, be patient. A couple weeks, couple months later, it could go way down again. And then in hindsight, your selling too early would have actually been a good thing. So the Puel multiple, you can see the Bitcoin investor tool 2-year MA multiplier. Once again, I've shown this on the channel before. In the peaks of the previous runs, it went above the top of the band. You can see we're sitting right against the top of it. But this last move, as I've shown before, that is when you see the biggest move exponentially in terms of percent gains. That way you can get a double or a triple of the price as it runs above this. So again, this is showing that there is potentially still time for this to go a lot higher once it peaks above the top of the band and has that parabolic blow off. We can see over here the pi cycle top indicator. It's a similar thing, all right? Move above everything. So you can see we are currently above both of these moving averages, but you can see how long it stays above it in the bull run until it finally peaks. So again, these are things that you want to look into and keep an eye on. Relative unrealized profit and loss, it's another indicator. You can see what's happening. The black line over here is the price action, and this is the relative unrealized profit and loss. And you can see how that goes when you get into the greed zone. Here it continued. When we got into the greed zone here, we had a pullback the first time and then a double, like a higher high, right? So that might be a potential scenario we're looking at, potentially a local top somewhere in May, a pullback correction for a couple months, and even a higher high several months or a year later than that. So again, you want to keep an eye on all of this. And again, coming back to this, base 1, base 2, base 3, we might be in the situation now where we're building base 4, where we run up to in the 70,000, maybe 80,000, get another pullback, and then get a huge run up. And again, this could happen very quickly. This could literally happen within the next 6 to 8 weeks, which would put us perfectly on track by middle May, like 1 year after the previous halving of May 2020, for a potential peak. So depending on how things are going to play out over the next couple weeks, we'll have to see how that goes. And based on that, personally, I'm going to be making decisions on, how am I going to get out of the market? How much do I keep in? What do I do? Because if it really does go like this, and it does go parabolic like this, I think it's very likely we will get some sort of local top and a big pullback, 30, 40, 50, 60% from that. And at that point, obviously, it would be way nicer to be able to take profits. I don't think if it's just going to race up from here for another 6 to 8 weeks, that it's going to continue in that tempo, in that direction for the next months until the end of the year. I don't think it's going to happen. We might get a sideways trading and consolidation, but I think more likely, it could pull back. So again, guys, this is not financial advice. I can't see the future. I'm just sharing these insights with you, previous data and other people's insights too, so we can put that all together and try and best base a decision on that. And again, it's better to be cautious, protect your initial capital, take some profits, take some chips off the table. That way, even if it crashes, you're good. And even if it continues going higher, sure, you don't have as much in the market as you would have had, but at the same time, you still have something in the market. So that is important to have a look at. So back to the Bitcoin chart, you can see accelerating trend lines. This could potentially be the fourth trend line, and we could see, let me get rid of this real quick. So maybe what we could see here is a move up to say 80,000, drop back down to maybe 70, then a move to 100 and beyond for the blow off phase over here. Now, Bitcoin is one thing, but what we want to look at also is the Bitcoin dominance chart, because that's going to be important for the altcoins. And I think most of us here watching the channel, yes, Bitcoin is nice, but we all know that the real parabolic gains, the huge exponential stuff, is there to be made from altcoins and not from Bitcoin. Even if Bitcoin goes to $180,000, which would be insane, it is a 3x from here. If Bitcoin goes to $180,000 at 3x, I think there's going to be altcoins that are going to do 30, 50, 100x. So obviously there is much more gains to be made from the altcoins. Most of us here know that. But at the same time, during the crash, A lot of altcoins are going to go way down, much further, 90%, 99%. I think a lot of them aren't going to be here in several years from now due to just the market changing and regulation and all that kind of stuff. So personally, I think altcoins are something to use to make more Bitcoin, to make big profits this bull run. And then there are not many altcoins that I would personally want to hold after this bull run cycle, right? I don't want to hold them for the long term. So just be aware of that. So this is the Bitcoin dominance chart. Again, most of you probably know what this is already. It is Bitcoin as a percentage of the total market cap versus all the other cryptocurrencies, right? And the higher the dominance of Bitcoin goes, it basically means Bitcoin is outperforming altcoins. And when that dominance ratio goes down, it means altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. And that is what we want to be seeing. This box over here was the last month of the cryptocurrency bull run cycle, where altcoins had insane gains, where we saw 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x in a matter of less than a month. Now, I do expect in this cycle at some point for the Bitcoin dominance to get into the 30% levels and basically make some sort of double bottom, maybe a lower low. That could be a possibility, but I do think that it is a possibility, and at some point, you know, maybe we'll get something like that, who knows. But I have shown this a few times. So basically what we had this trend line, breakdown from it, a retest with a double top over here, maybe triple top. There's a strong resistance over here. We pulled back down from that, and we've kind of slowly been moving here. Once we get below this level, below this previous low of around 57, I think things can start to accelerate, and I think we could see a massive sell-off, just like we saw in the end of 2018. And it is possible that this could happen literally in the next 6 to 8 weeks, right? If it breaks down below that and we get a huge run and we get that possible local top in May, it might actually be a possibility. But once again, we have to kind of wait and see. So over the next few weeks, if we don't get a crazy run in Bitcoin and we don't get a crazy run in altcoins, and things are kind of just taking their time, we get more of a correction, then maybe this cycle goes a little bit longer and we don't peak in May, maybe June, July, August, maybe all the way to the end of the year. So it really depends on how quickly things are going to happen in the next few weeks, and based on that, we can kind of adjust where we're going. But the one thing that is certain is that the longer the bull run goes on and the higher the prices go, the closer we are going to get to the cycle peak, right? So every single week where this bull run is continuing, that is 1 week closer to this bull run completing and the next bear market starting. So the longer it goes on, the less risky you want to get, because again, that risk of the next crash is getting higher and higher. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this update. The next few weeks are going to be important. Subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, get on my email list, first link in the description below, so you do get these updates. I am going to be following this more and more closely as time goes on. I am expecting Bitcoin to continue going higher, $70,000, $80,000, possibly this leg, before another pullback, and then hopefully after that, the real crazy parabolic run that is going to take Bitcoin over $100,000. Obviously not financial advice, guys. Make your own decisions, but I want to share this with you to give you as much information as possible to help you make better decisions. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.